there's a doctor under investigation for making inmates of the jail guinea pigs for his experiment. Let me give you the background. There's a doctor in Washington County, Arkansas, under investigation by the medical board. Why? Because this doctor has been using this Republican-pushed anti-parasite drug, Ivermectin, okay? You got Alex Jones and all kind of conservative cats who are swearing by this unapproved medication. Now, this medication is used primarily by vets, okay, veterinarians. But in low dosage, it can be used. There's a version that can be used for adults. It's used for scabies. That's what it's used for, all right? So this medical doctor is under investigation for giving this medication as a treatment to inmates in a county facility where he has the contract. And according to the inmates, they were unaware of what drug it was. According to one of the inmates who went on record, he said they were told these were vitamins or antibiotics. Not so. So let me go deeper. Eva Madison, a county elected official, had raised the issue during a finance and budget committee meeting Tuesday night. Jail officials were presenting their 2022 budget, which included the jail's physician who is now being investigated. His name is Dr. Rob Carras, asking for a 10% increase in the medical services contract. So Dr. Rob would like a raise, all right? Madison informed committee members and the jail officials that a county employee who has opted to stay anonymous to the public told her that he had been sent to the jail's clinic to get tested for COVID-19. When the person tested negative, they were given a $76 prescription for ivermectin. He was concerned about the prescription and asked his primary care physician about it. And the physician told him, and I quote, "Throw that in the trash," okay? It gets deeper. While this individual had good fortune to have a physician that he could go to and ask for a second opinion, Madison said at the meeting, "Our inmates do not have that choice." Madison contacted Sheriff Tim Helder about the matter, and the sheriff defended it, saying the doctor has been prescribing ivermectin on a regular basis. Let's put up a picture of this sheriff. There he is. Let's put up a picture of good old Dr. Rob here. That's him. All right, just happy as he can be with his high dollar contract with the county, allegedly experimenting on inmates inside of that facility. Madison said when he spoke to the doctor, he confirmed that he had been prescribing this to detainees as well as members of his own family. That's according to the narrative. The doctor, who has treated people at the jail for the last 6 years, confirmed prescribing the drug to CBS News on Friday, saying that vaccines are a tremendous asset in fighting against COVID, but that their availability does not change the day-to-day reality of caring for sick patients. In an email he sent, according to the doctor, he obtained ivermectin from a licensed pharmacist. Now that's according to his defense. He's saying, listen, I got this from a licensed pharmacist. I did not go to a vet in order to get this, okay? And it was formulated for humans. That's according to him. He also told CBS News, and I quote, "I do not have the luxury," now listen to this, "I do not have the luxury of conducting my own clinical trial or study and am not attempting to do so. I am on the front line of trying to prevent death and serious illness. I am proud of our track record in both my clinics and at the jail in particular." Now, what he just said is contrary to what the inmates at the facility are saying. I believe all of the inmates over this clown, okay? I do. Here's what the inmates are saying. Floril Wooten said he and other inmates were not aware that jail nurses were giving them ivermectin. until about 5 days after first receiving the pills. He said inmates can't see what the medications are because pills are pulled out of a drawer that has dozens of bottles. The only reason they found out, he said, is because of news reports that the good doctor, the jail's physician, was prescribing the drugs to detainees and others. And from that point forward, they finally gave us the consent if we would like to take the pill or not. He said, adding that roughly 20 other inmates then turned down the pills. This is when they realized they were part of this doctor's experimentation. Now, the doctor denies it. He says, oh no, all of the detainees, they were aware of what they were taking. Here's what was said. It was not consensual. They used us as an experiment, like we're livestock. Kind of sounds like the 13th Amendment to the Constitution to me. This story is so extreme. Let me say this for the record. The FDA has said this is a no-no. The company that makes Ivermectin, they said this is a no-no. The clinical trials that are going on, not promising results at the moment. Data is still coming in. Adrienne Lawrence, your thoughts?
Well, I think that this is extraordinarily disturbing and it really shows the low point of mankind because what they are indeed doing is using these individuals as guinea pigs. It's a thought that just because an individual is imprisoned, whether they committed a crime or not, but that they are a lower form of humanity and thus they do not need to be treated like whole people who are respected. And to know that these drugs were essentially peddled to these individuals under the guise of being helpful is so incredibly wrong. This ivermectin stuff, it has side effects that could impact everyone differently. Skin rashes, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, limb swelling, neurologic adverse events like potentially requiring hospitalization, liver injury. These things are no joke and you never know what could go down with someone's system. So to be giving out these drugs and just, hey, let's see what happened. All it really does is remind me in part of that Tuskegee experiment, where the US used the Department of Public Health to essentially administer placebos and all these other drugs to black men as guinea pigs just to see if syphilis would kill them or not or how they'd respond under the guise of I'll give you free healthcare. When we look at that Tuskegee experiment, we have to remember it just ended in 1972.
That's right.
And so it's part of the distrust, the legacy of distrust that the black community often has for the US government as well as medical science. So I don't know, just it hits me in so many different directions. But as you see a lot of people refuse to take the COVID-19 vaccine, you have to remember there's a history of people who look like me and Dr. Richey essentially being used as guinea pigs, and we're seeing it happen today.
Yeah, and people that look like this medical doctor in charge.